This is Richard Nikoley, freetheanimal.com, and today I just had an inkling to talk about something that has been on my mind with the blog, and let's start with economic theory, which is now I put you to sleep. You know, there's two kinds, microeconomics and macroeconomics. I don't know about all schools, but most schools, when you take economics courses, whether it is in a course of study of economics or in my case, required for a business degree. And so they start off with microeconomics. And everybody's like, oh, I can't wait to get to macro. That's the fun stuff. But really, the nuts and bolts is micro. It's really what's called the theory of the firm. So it's like the social study of why people behave the way they do, why they make the decisions. So there's all sorts of things like price theory, things like that. And another part of it is called willingness to pay. So willingness to pay is the price at which or below that a person will definitely buy, right? The thing is, I think there's a lot more study to be done on that in terms of the internet. Because there's three things on the internet. There's like free content on the internet. There is content that is purported to be free, but it's financed by advertisements, right? And there's hybrids of that too. Well, there's subscriptions or a la carte payment. For instance, paying for like on my blog, it's a subscription blog, and so you pay by the month or a year. You know, most people do that. You give a discount for paying for a year at a time. Well, I have one payment instead of 12, you know, all that stuff. Or there's some that have, you know, piecemeal options, like pay a buck for this post or a bundle or something like that, you know. And that gets into complexities, right? If you're big enough, then that makes sense, you know, because you'd have hundreds, if not thousands of you know, customers in each kind of category, right? So, you know, mine is fine the way it is. There's hybrids too, you know, newspapers and magazines, print newspapers and magazines were the hallmark of that. So you purchased it for a subscription, so it's not free, and then it's laden with ads, right? Right? Or cable TV is another kind of example, because you, unlike broadcast where it just pipes in, and naturally you have advertisements. That's how they deliver you that content, which you pay nothing for, in terms of dollars and cents. Or you know, movie theater. So, you know, they have the trailers before you pay. You pay for a ticket, which isn't too outrageous, but then you pay, you know, 300% to 500% more for your goodies, you know, usually they're probably just break even or so on the ticket price, where they make the money as the concessions. Anyway, so there's all these different pricing models, and but I think one misconception with people, especially in the internet, having been in this experience before, is that they think, and it's getting so outrageous, I think people are beginning to realize, because from my perspective, there's a lot more content creators, be it, you know, videos, or like I do a blog, or a blog, but a little bit of video, you know, mostly just because I'm doing that, an emphasis on that right now, but just because I want to build it. So you have this thing, and people are like, oh, paywall, right? Well, I want to reply, yeah, just like you shut down, like you have to sit there and click, a dozen times when you click into something to shut down the ads and the pop-ups and everything like that. Those are paywalls, in a sense, right? Oh, but it's free, yeah. Aggravation and time is a cost too, right? But, and I know this sounds self-serving, but really it's a better experience to not have any of that, right? If I had a subscription one for my newsletter, and I only got one complaint about it, and it turns out it was my fault. I didn't have it set to where, once it pops up on first visit, and then if you close it, you don't see it again for like a dozen visits or something like that, provided you still have the cookie in there, in your cookie folder, or in your cookie jar, I should say. But you know what? After a time, I said, I've got the newsletter subscribed prominently as you scroll down the page. That's sufficient. So I just dumped it. Yeah, you're paying, so there's just no interruptions. It's like, boom, it's right there, everything. There's no pop-ups. There's a couple of passive ads on the side, banner things. What is there? 3. One's just a link to Amazon where you go shop for anything you want. Another is to my book, my own book, and another is to the probiotic with whom I have a long relationship, successful one. So I like it, but on the other hand, I consume a lot of content by various creators for free, and some I pay. I have a YouTube Premium subscription just because it gets rid of the ads, so from what I understand is the creators that you watch get some little teeny piece of your subscription payment for your YouTube Premium payment. And there's a handful of other things that I pay a subscription to. I just got one the other day. Now that was a one-time donation. It's an interesting thing. It's called the Daily Skeptic. It's out of UK. It's a couple years old. It's another one of these that rose up. It was like COVID Skeptic or something, and now it's like Daily Skeptic because they're doing very well. And they have a new policy so that everything's free except if you want to comment, you got to donate. So I don't know how often you do, but there was something I wanted to comment on. I said, I'll shoot them £5 sterling. And so I did, cool. But the willingness to pay thing is like, it differs by individual. Some will just absolutely never pay for anything ever, right? They will go out and pirate, like BitTorrent movies and stuff. And I do that too, but I've explained. I said, I'm perfectly willing to rent, right? And I used to all the time from Google Play. But then Google Play, I had my credit card saved, and I had smart TV, so I could just say, yeah, boom, yeah, sure, I'll pay $3-4 to watch the movie. He's happy to do it, right? Then Google Play moves it, and that's here in Thailand. So then Google Play moves it into the movie or movie series, purchase rental as part of YouTube, right? And that part of YouTube isn't available here in Thailand, right? It's just like, all right, fuck you. So, but the thing is, piracy. There's kind of this, and a lot of people don't really understand that piracy, piracy exists because, people want it for free, and they'll go to great lengths, right? This is what's kind of funny about it. They go to great lengths to pirate something and not pay, using time and effort, and in some cases equipment, and it used to be a pain in the ass to do BitTorrent. You couldn't stream it, right? You had to get the files, and I know this only because I knew guys who were always trying to get me into it, right? I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? I'm gonna go find the shit, download it, and then burn it onto a DVD so I can watch it? Fuck, I'd rather rent it. Pay $3, Well, here, and they're guys who create a library, so they have them, right? But I'm a one-time watcher guy, so there's very few films that I watch more than once, and I figure, hey, if I ever want to watch it again, I just rent it again, right? And I've done that. I recently rented, what was it? Godfather series. I wanted to see it again, right? No, I think it was on Netflix. So yeah, and I pay a Netflix subscription. I think all three of them were on Netflix. And I did it with Top Gun before the new one, so I had the continuity, stuff like that, right? So, the point about piracy is that it's bad, but not so bad. Because why? It's marketing. So you're letting them steal it from you, right? And in turn, you're like, oh, this is great. Now, of course, you're gonna pass that on to a certain number of thieves too, but they're just marketers as well, right? But it's also but that word goes out, so it keeps the hype up, and it ends up with more purchase. I read a story once, and I can't remember the details, but it was some person who did like short stories or something like that, or novelettes or something on Amazon, fictional stuff, right? And had it on Amazon, but purposefully released PDFs of the thing, so it would be pirated and passed around. There's some smart marketing right there. So, yeah, I'm doing stuff a little bit different, gradually on the blog. I'm not going to talk about it because you'll know anyway. The point is, the old adage, you get what you pay for. Now, there's some awesome content out there that's totally free. But most of the totally free content is garbage. Really is, right? And you want to know, here's one thing. You want to know when something's garbage. I made this point before. You want to know when something is garbage. A YouTube channel is perfect. Like, you go into some of those hyper popular ones, right, and they get like hundreds of thousands of views, right? Go look at the comments under the videos, right? So then that gives you an insight. It's like, okay, if you're a creator, you don't care if you watch it, but do you want a following like this who's going to constantly be blasting your comments with banal bullshit like that? Probably not. And you're just for someone like me, I could never have that sort of thing, because even if I had the talent to do it and the gumption to do it, I just wouldn't feel good. It's kind of like going back to the old rock and roll days, and when real talented bands and musicians, they weren't very popular, and they got a lot of advice, and they changed their style or whatever, and they made it less raw, right? And accused of being sellouts. Well, everybody has to make a living. So I don't begrudge anybody for going out and trying to make that dough by doing, what they, by crafting their stuff, crafting their shit to conform with willingness to pay, right? And then there is, I don't begrudge the pirateers either, really, Some things you want to pay for, some things you don't. It's up to you. There is a good trend that I see, and it's been going on for a while, where people are saying, I'd rather just have a budget of, how much I'm going to spend every month for various sites that I like. And, it can be a revolving door sort of thing. Sites go in, try them out for a while, and then they go out. That's why I have the monthly versus annual subscription, which mostly everybody does. Because monthly you can cancel anytime you want, and you're only out $6 for that month, right? If you do an annual of 50, then after 1 month you don't like it, you're like, fuck, right? So you cancel, but it doesn't matter. You still have access, and then it's just not going to charge you next time around. I don't do refund shit, right? So pain in the ass. Although I'm never asked. I was asked one single time when someone canceled, but it was like a month and a half after the fact, right? It's like, no, I'm not gonna, right? I do this. I would do this because I've had the same dispensation extended to me where I forgot to cancel a subscription, particularly for some tool for my website or something that I quit using a long time ago, so I don't use it anymore. But I forgot to cancel the recurring thing, and so it hit. But then what I do, I've done this maybe a couple times. I go in and I say, look, I'm really sorry, and I know I don't have any right for a refund, but in fact, if you check your logs, if you have them, you see I haven't used the thing in months, and so I did not intend to have the subscription renewed. And in, I guess, 2 cases like that, boom, they issued me a refund right away. So yeah, that's good golden rule stuff there, right? Okay. So this is it's new, it's evolving. At first it was like the big free internet, because it was kind of a labor of love in a sense, for society and tech. It's like, look at what we're creating, it's so cool, we'll worry about making money later. That was the attitude of most. I mean, even Facebook went for a long time before they started making any money, and then they had a hell of a time figuring out how to monetize mobile, because they knew that's where the real future was the mobile apps, because it's in somebody's pocket all the time, right? So it's a lot of eyeball time. But the thing is you by setting a price for something, it's its own filter, right? Okay, let's use an extreme example. Say you have a storefront, right? And you can even look at this go in the stores that have higher price points versus those like Dollar General or Five and Dime, the cheap stuff, and look at inside and see the difference in the clientele and the orderliness of the store. I used to be appalled when I would go. I don't know if there's any Kmart's around anymore, but there came a time where you could go in, and if you looked at the kids' toy aisles, I mean, it was unbelievable. Parents would just allow their kids to roam free and just start playing with the toys and drop them and tear them out of boxes and all that stuff, right? But you know, it's cheaper, right? Again, that's fine. I go to there's a great chain here, and it's a Thai-owned chain, not Chinese. And it's only here in Phuket. It's a Phuket chain, and it's called Super Cheap. What a great name for a store. And it is kind of like a mini Costco, if you will. And there is a Costco here in Thailand. It's called Macro. Actually, it existed before Costco, is from what I understand, and it's exactly the same. It's like it's a warehouse where you go in and shop. Who knows? Maybe Costco stole the idea from them or whatever. And I don't even know if it's Thai or if it's just regional or something. But it's a cool place. I have one very close, and it's the best deals for everything. I can go to Villa Mart that's less than a kilometer away, that caters to the Farang. I was in there yesterday because there's a few things that I still have to go over there and get. But you're talking stuff, you can go and just be amazed at the prices, and then go down to Macro and see it for 300% less. Yeah, you heard me, not 3%, 300% less for the same damn thing, right? It's amazing. So I wanted to get a potato masher, like a simple potato masher, right? Now I can go to, there's a kitchen store way up there, right? Kitchen utensils are very weird in Thailand, right? There's very few of them in stores where you would expect there to be a lot of them. Thais are not big on single-use things, right? So suppose you have a store and it's a storefront, like on a street, and you know, the nice glass windows and all of that, and you have all your wares in there. It's very attractive and people come in. But right at the front table, right in the front as you go in, you have a table full of stuff, and it's like with a sign that says free. Well, you know, some shoppers are gonna come in and they're not interested in all that, you know, penny cheapo free stuff that you're using as a lost leader to get people into the store. They're going to go find what they want and pay their reasonable price for it, and so on. But what happens there, because of the free stuff, you attract a bunch of people who aren't really customers. They're never going to give you a penny, never going to give you a dime. They're just going to come in to look for the free stuff, and they'll be satisfied. They'll be satisfied non-paying customers, right? Okay. But what are you doing? What are you doing? Right? So lost leaders are fine and good, right? So for instance, I went and had breakfast this morning. First time I've been out to breakfast in maybe a couple weeks. I cook at home now. My little kitchen. Look at my cooking video. And today after this I'm gonna go and make some soup, and I'm gonna shoot some footage on that. But I want to make the cooking one short, like 3 to 5 minutes tops, right? That's all you need for those. But I go to Vibes down on the beach, and I have the 99 baht breakfast I've spoken of. I've put pictures of it. It's like ham, eggs, 2 chicken sausages that are the small sausages, a slice of bacon, fried tomatoes like in an English breakfast, slice of toast, butter, and jam. Yeah, I think, and potatoes. Did I say potatoes? It's a small portion of fried potatoes, right? And it's 99 baht, which is about $2.50. $2.60, 70, depends on the exchange rate, right? So now the thing is, people go there, number one, because it's excellent. It's really, really good, right? So it's not bullshit, cheap crap. This is a valid loss leader because it's of the same quality as their other stuff. Now, some people will only go in for that, but they're still paying, and he's still making a little bit of money, right? But because they know and like the place, it's not uncommon that they will come in for lunch or dinner sometime and then have something from the regular menu at the regular price, where they're paying more like $5 to $10 for something. So that's how it goes. But if you were giving stuff away to people who will never pay, no matter what, then you need to kind of find out what that's all about, and there's no need for you to be doing that. So that's what I have to say about it. And I'll leave people to figure that out on their own. Okay, so I guess that's it. I can always, add some more later if I decide something else. And I just put it together and you never know what happened. All right.